Patience, according to Joyce Meyer, is not the ability to wait, but how we behave whilst waiting. And patience is one of these kind of outdated concepts, it would appear, because how many of you lack patience with people who can't keep up with you, people who don't have the same interests as you, people who are different from you, people who don't learn as fast as you do? How many of you lack interest? How many of you have looked at something on YouTube and because it doesn't accord with your philosophy or your beliefs, you just kind of blow it over? I'm not saying you should look at everything, but it's just based on a whim, isn't it? Sometimes because the speech isn't fast enough in a video, people haven't got the patience to wait it out to hear the final message. Sometimes people will look at videos or TV films or anything and come to their own conclusions and say, oh, look, I can't be bothered, I do it. I'm not going to bother with this. I kind of scan through it, and if it doesn't gravitate or grab me, I haven't got the patience to sit and listen through it. There has to be something that kind of grabs me. We lack patience. Also, as well as lacking patience, many of us lack tolerance. We don't have the tolerance for people who are not as intelligent as us, who are not as educated, who might not behave how we would like them to behave, who may not look how we would like them to look. We lack tolerance. What does that say about ourselves? It kind of says to us that we would expect the same, and that's why we probably push ourselves so hard, because we know how we lack tolerance and we have lacked patience. So therefore we assume that people feel the same way about us. But what does, in a world where everything is so fast paced that it makes you feel like a failure, what do you do? Things that you learnt in the past are no longer relevant. Things that you're interested in don't give you the results that you want. How do you develop patience in situations like that? But like Joyce Meyer said, it's the behaviour while waiting for the outcome. Now, if you believe that something is going to happen, and you've done your best, you've done everything you possibly can, you've planted all of the seeds, you haven't taken no shortcuts, but you've planted all of the seeds that you need to plant. And then you just say, look, I've done my best. I'm going to see what happens. I'm just going to have the patience that something will come out of my hard work. People don't have that kind of patience. They want results now. They want the money now. They don't want to sit and wait and see when that money is going to come, or see when the outcome of their labour is going to reveal itself. They haven't got the patience. And as a result, they either sabotage it, or they just leave it, or they just don't go back to it. And it's left a dream unfulfilled, where if they'd given it a bit more attention, given it a bit more time, had a bit more patience, it could have developed into something. Mentality of people today is just that. They do not have the patience to see things through. And we've been groomed to get things quick. So we're groomed to be constantly in a state of dissatisfaction, a state of unhappiness, a state of discontent, a state of always wanting more but not putting enough in. That's how we're being groomed. And unless you catch yourself and be conscious about how you're being groomed, A lot of people think they have control over their lives. It's really quite amazing because even they know what's happening, they still kind of think, oh, well, I have control over my life. I know what I'm doing. And yet their behavior tells you something different. Their behavior tells you that they're no better than anyone else who's being groomed. No better than anyone else who doesn't have any patience. No better than anyone who's always trying to get in these get-rich-quick schemes, which are just a device to deceive the greedy and those who don't want to put any effort in. That's what these quick, rich schemes are all about. You always find the people who are putting them on, they're already rich or they're already making it, but they want more. But they know that there are people out there who are greedy, who don't want to put any effort in and who want to get money quick. And so those are the people they rope in. And those are the people who don't have patience. They don't have patience to do things properly. I don't know who I'm speaking to today, but I just had this, I woke up with patience, and I've put here, this is what Joyce Meyer said. And I think that is why it came up, because that I was looking either at TikTok or YouTube, and this message came out to me. Patience is not simply the ability to wait, it's how we behave while we're waiting. And that was by Joyce Meyer. And I've just put my notes here, which I'll share with you. How many of you have low tolerance for people who do not think as you do, who can't keep up with your pace, who are not as coherent as you are, who do not learn in the way that you do, in other words, who are different from you? How patient are you with these people? In a world where everything is fast-paced but disguised as slow-paced because it's hard to keep up, it's making us feel helpless, hopeless, and useless. If we take a step back and ask ourselves, what's the rush? Why do we need to get this today? Why am I pushing myself to do this today? Why is this money seeming just out of reach? If only I, and that is the carrot on the end of the stick, the people who are pulling the strings know that there are people out there who want something for nothing, and they exploit them. They're predictable. Deadlines. And you find that these same people always have a deadline. Oh, you've only got today to do it, or you've got to complete this in 2 hours, or you've got to complete this in 60 minutes. They're always pushing you to pull you in. Do you notice that they always have deadlines? Whose deadline is that? You know, it's not God's deadline, is it? It's man's deadline to rope you in and get you hooked. And so many people fall for that. So many people. And in the end, there's always they always have to give out more than they get in the long run because they're looking for something quick and easy. So, I put here deadline. Can the deadline be shifted? If it's somebody else, if it's one of these rich people who want to pull you in, why does it have to be today? Why is there only 60 minutes? Why is there's only 10 spaces? You might be that lucky one to get that space. Why is all of those restrictions put in place? So, you're always operating to someone else's deadline, an employer's deadline, a friend's deadline, a relative's deadline, a spouse's deadline. Why have you found yourself in this situation? Is it because of insufficient forward planning? Is it because you don't want to put the effort in to do things properly? Is it due to unforeseen circumstances? So, patience is really an admirable quality, you know, and sometimes I get impatient when I think people are trying to take shortcuts or they're trying to get something for nothing. I think I lack patience in those situations. But there again, I shouldn't, because it's their downfall. So I shouldn't really become impatient in those situations. But I think it's because I'm a Libra and I like to think that life is fair. It's not fair, but there's always somebody